doing well. So we had a bit of a shifting around on our signals, which is fine. We had some old signals from a week ago, and they had the old stop loss and the old TP. And now currently our new setup is that we've got a tighter stop, a greater trading profit, and less volume, so we have a less regularity. When we launched the robot, we had loads of concurrent trades, and some of them pinged multiple times at one point at a time. So one of them was the Aussie, and it did result in a loss. So if you look at the times, it shouldn't have triggered in those quick succession. So really, those three trades could have been reduced to one, and so we wouldn't have had three losses. We would have had the one loss. So that is worth noting. We are down currently, but don't forget this is using the old setup that we had. We had wider stops. We had a 100 pip stop, 100 pip TP, and then we thought, well, actually, we probably should put in the trailing stop. We kept the 100 pip SL, but it's still too wide. So that's now been reduced to 50 pips, as we can see. A stop loss for GC, pound CAD, is 50 pips, and so it should lock in the trailing stop after 25 pips. And with any luck, it continues and it doesn't chop around, which it's possible we are going to probably just chop around because that's the FX, isn't it? So in a way, it's good. We started afresh, and all the new signals that we see on our robot are going to have the new risk management setup, which is great, to be honest with you. I wanted to get rid of those Aussie USDs. It's not, we shouldn't have had, three pop up concurrently. We should have just had the one. I'm not sure whether or not we had a glitch on the spreadsheet, maybe, I'm not sure. So that's exactly what we'll be doing. We've got a fresh start, a trade every 4 hours, which is fine. I think that's going to be fine. And pending, we're going to have lots of success on this new setup, we can perhaps look at increasing the size, which kind of makes sense that we would. All right, let's have a look at your indices and gold. So gold is that we made a buy here, and we made another buy here. So we can map a zone below, and hopefully you see how it works. So I think it's this one. I was struggling to find which one it was. I think it's this one. So we've got like two zones now. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. They've sold it, the price come up. They sold it, so price come up. Now this bit here is a little bit naughty. That might have got me stopped out. I might have entered, somewhere around there, and you think, well, actually, that's probably a decent stop, and it could have stopped you out. So what I was saying in Discord is that if you're going to have a slightly wider stop, you just need to reduce your size. So if you're doing like a 0.05 or 0.1, you just look to maybe half the size, and then you can have a slightly wider stop. You wouldn't, have a large size and have a wide stop, because that's how you blow your account. You need to reduce your volume, reduce your risk, then add, pending, the confluence. So if you've got a long bias on this, which you could have because, we're a buy at the big picture, then you could add to those positions and then go back to normal sizes. But if you're not sure, you want to de-risk, and once you're fairly confident, then you can add. And you just want to add in tiny increments of micro lots as well. So if you can get a broker with micro lots, it's really helpful, I find. So that's it. So two supports. You can have a little bit of resistance up here at 2000. Could be a good TP, to be honest with you, but there'll be some resistance there because someone has to take the other side of that trade. Now the herd went long, so a bank institution had to sell it because they've got to counter, the herd positioning. All right, so if 1 million people buy X, there has to be someone to sell it, to the buyers. Okay, so there has to be constantly like a fluid exchange, and that's why the sentiment's really powerful, because the dumb money go one particular way. Someone has to take the other side of that trade, don't they? It's just an exchange. So we don't look at the UK 100. We could maybe start looking at that. I'm not sure we could do S&P, right? So sell, and then you could argue sideways and sell. So we can make another box here, and here-ish, isn't it? It's really hard to map. The way that FXM is designed, this line, can you see that line? It's really faint. I I think here, I'm going to go for here. Um, not the greatest tools to be working with either, but something like this, I think. See, they've gone long, so we have to create a resistance. So, you know, we're going to fall. We might come along and test that diagonal. I need to clean that diagonal up, but you get the idea anyway. It's a rough one. If it hit that top there, we could have probably hit this. Actually, yeah, we'll do this line properly. Something like that, I'm thinking. There-ish. Right, something along those lines. So, you know, you're looking for longs above that diagonal. Had multiple respects here. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 respects. So this line is a lot better than this one. I don't know how to delete old stuff. I don't know. It says loads of lines, isn't there? That's probably not going to let me do it. Oh, that's the one. That was the that was the that was the good one. Oh, okay, so that's weird. Anyway, I said I was going to tidy these lines up, but there you go. Do this line properly. So we're going to use that high. We're going to have multiple respects. So this is the better one. We're going to hit that high. We're going to hit those highs. So you're looking for a long above that, and then of course they sold it, and it created the support, and there's your like launch pad. So we had the technical break, sentimental driver, boom. Okay, and now the driver here is to the downside because they've gone long up here. So this is why we're falling. That's how you can use it. Okay, so you can map diagonals, horizontal breaks in conjunction with the sentiment. Very powerful. And DAX. And you know, well, you know, we can draw 2 boxes, can't we? You can see 1 box here, and then we can do another box here. And it's all a bit crazy, really, isn't it? All these moves. I'm not surprised this has fallen because this was one of the biggest stop hunts probably ever going to see. The last, you know, last 5 months. You know, just had to go to all-time high. I think this is the all-time high. I'm not sure. But yeah, you can see, you know, we just pumped. Why did we pump? Well, because the herd, they sold it, they sold it, they sold it, started selling it, and now they're capitulating because they've given up and got blown up, basically. Their accounts blew up. And this is what we're saying, the stock run, one of the biggest stock runs we'll probably ever see. So I'm not surprised this is falling. I'm not sure if they're going to change their bias and sell it. I'm not sure. If they do, then, you know, we'll have some support, and then we'll create a zone below. Very crazy move, so be careful. And you're probably going to see some flight to safety in the safe havens, yen, dollar example, maybe gold. This looks like it's going to probably tumble. We're going to have some support here, I think. Long way away, 15,840. Perhaps some support in here as well, which we can probably map across. This large wick, isn't it? There's probably a NFP or something like that. Or, you know, maybe inflation data, something like that. Let's have a big data release here. And that's interesting. Look where we stopped on that candle wick. Right, so keep an eye on this if you're trading DAX, 16,04058. All right, so that we hit it almost to the dot. We might fit, I think we'll probably fall because of the sentiment, and we'll come down here for some support. So be careful, and do note that we're risk off the Quasi DB, and we're currently looking at a ranking where we've got some. Okay, so that's interesting. You'd think maybe the yen would strengthen, but you know, from a scoring perspective, G, J, CJ, UJ can do okay. I wonder if we might see a reversal up here, and I guess we'll have to wait and see. So the Kiwi also fell really heavily as well. So you're going to see some difficulty on the Kiwi today because they held on their interest rate hike. So that's it. So I don't know whether or not we're going to see reversals here. We might do. Fundamentally, we should. Sentimentally, these are probably going to be okay. So we might see a like little breakdown of fundamental sentiment. assuming that the indices are going to fall and they're not going to have some support. If we bounce off the support, then yeah, these will probably do quite well. So remember to trade safely. I'll be back later.